This video is going to correspond with the Spanish-American War Legacies section of your notes. In particular, in this video, we're going to take a look at the legacy of the Philippine War. When we take a look at the Philippine War, if you look at loss of life, about 5,000 Americans, most of them are troops, end up dying in the war with the Filipinos. And hundreds of thousands, potentially as high as some estimates say 1.4 million Filipinos are killed. Now, that wasn't just as by bullets, that includes disease and starvation and a variety of things that war tends to bring. But there is a lot of death of Filipinos in this benevolent assimilation of the United States. And did we really accomplish our goals? Remember, many Americans wanted the Philippines as a market for goods. The Philippines didn't end up being much of a market. First of all, they're fighting us, and so they're not buying our stuff. And then even after the war is kind of calmed down a bit, the Filipinos are just not wealthy enough to really end up purchasing a lot of American goods. So it doesn't become the market that we perhaps would have liked. One thing it does lead to is the United States does call for an open door policy in China. And you do need to know what the open door policy is. In China, European countries had gone in there during the Opium Wars earlier in the 1800s and had defeated China and had forced China to open up under spheres of influence. So the British had a sphere, the French had a sphere, Germans had a sphere, etc. And so areas where they could control all of the trade rights with China in their particular sphere. Well, the United States didn't really like this because, of course, that meant we weren't going to be able to trade with the Chinese. And so we issued the open door policy, basically saying, hey, we're going to tell you that we think that trade should be open to everybody in China. And so we even send about 2,500 soldiers diverted from the Philippines to go to China to kind of enforce this open door policy. As far as the missionary aspect goes, the Filipinos also kind of resist the missionaries' effort to woo them away from Catholicism. So Catholicism continues to be the primary religion in the Philippines. The U.S. does establish military bases there, and so you could say that, well, that's a significant outcome that we become more powerful in the Pacific. But that's also one of the reasons why the Japanese end up attacking us at Pearl Harbor during World War II, is so they can get access to the Philippines. And so, yes, it helps with our military stability and also hurts it at one point as well. Let's see. And then finally, U.S. ends up giving the Philippines independence in 1946, but kept a military base there and supported an anti-communist dictator all the way until 1986. Okay, that wraps up section 1 of the Spanish-American War Legacies.